People often ask me, why do you read YA? Today's video is going to be my answer to that frequently asked question. I started reading young adult back when I was in 9th grade. And although I did start reading young adult when I was a teenager, I do not necessarily believe that young adult is just for teenagers, as many people commonly misbelieve. Young adult doesn't just mean that a book is about a teen. Young adult literature focuses on a person and their story and their growth throughout something. And I feel like all people can really relate to young adult for this reason. All people have gone through some kind of situation that has defined them in their lives, whether it has been an illness, or they've discovered what they love to do, or they've had a tragedy happen. Everyone has gone through something, and YA really personifies this struggle and this kind of search for something in your life. Young adult is about the struggle to find yourself and the struggle to define who you are, which is something that not just teens struggle with. There are people in their 20s that struggle with this. There are people in their 30s that struggle with this. There are even old people that struggle with this idea of finding who they are. And I feel like YA really just helps to personify this. Another amazing thing about YA is the stories. Now, I'm not trying to bash on adult literature, but much of the adult literature, it's just plot. Here's something that happens, here it is. But in young adult, it's just so easy to connect to a book and fall in love with it. You take a story and you find these characters and you can relate to them and you feel for them, and as the book goes on you fall more and more in love with these just amazing, rich, well-developed characters. And I feel like in adult you just don't get that as much, or you don't really hear about it as much. Another common misbelief about young adult is that it's just a bunch of stories about vampires or love triangles. And when people say that to me, I laugh in their face. I look at them and say, have you ever really read a young adult novel? While there is a lot of focus on the paranormal or love triangles, there are so many other amazing books that do not fit under this stereotype. Book like If I Stay by Gayle Forman, which focuses on a girl's struggle on whether or not she should keep living. Is this book about vampires? No. Is this book about a love triangle? No. It is about a girl's personal struggle in dealing with whether or not she should live. I could give you example after example for this. Stories that are just amazing and not just the typical cookie cutter boy meets girl giggles and happiness to follow. Personally, my favorite thing about YA is the stories that authors are able to tell. You are able to learn so much from these characters. Whether you are a teenager or whether you are an adult, I feel like everyone can really learn something from young adult literature. Young adult literature may not be the most well-written, the most poetic, or the most profound literature, but that doesn't really matter. You still get amazing novels that are able to touch so many people. Look at the Harry Potter series. That series defined a generation. It wasn't for its literary genius, although J.K. Rowling is kind of a goddess. It wasn't for its profound message that it's trying to tell. It was because so many people were able to love it and connect with it. And I feel like that's what YA gives people. It gives people an outlet to be able to connect together. Look at popular series such as Twilight, The Hunger Games, Divergent. It really united people and it formed its own form of popular culture. And those books no matter what critics say, they don't become popular just because a bunch of giggling teenage girls thinks it's cool. It became popular for a reason. So when anybody asks you, why do you read YA? And they kind of snicker and think they're better than you, remember, there's a reason why, and there is a reason why YA will always hold a special place in my heart. So let me know in the comments down below why you guys love YA. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.